Hey, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to Kai Watches Gilmore Girls, the show where I watch Gilmore Girls for the very first time and I document my entire experience. Today, we are looking at season 5, episode 10, entitled But Not As Cute as a Pushkin. That's what we're focusing on today. My friends, if you enjoy what you're watching today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you're going to be notified anytime that I post something here on YouTube. I post it here on YouTube before I post it anywhere else. So if you want to be the first person to see my thoughts on an episode, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You can also get your favorite Gilmore Girl gear. You can get some t-shirts, some bags, some hoodies, whatever you want with your favorite Gilmore Girl moments on them. Just visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, and click on merchandise, and it's all there for you, and it is all on sale. Also, if you like me, just as a person, hi, you can follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, we are focusing on season 5, episode 10, of Gilmore Girls. Once again, for those of you that may not be familiar with who I am watching Gilmore Girls for the very first time. This is my first time experiencing these episodes. I know a lot of people out there have watched this many, many, many times. This is my very first time, and I'm documenting my entire experience. I am on season 5, episode 10. Let's get down to business. My friends, we're going to start off. We have Lorelai learning about Luke's dark day for the very first time. And I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, how come we didn't know about this before? Well, we didn't know about it before because it didn't serve the plot. It didn't serve the plot, so why would we know about it? And Lorelai obviously is learning about it as well, because that's how things work in the world of TV and telling a story that is interesting to people as they're watching it. So this is her learning that Luke has a dark day that apparently has been happening every single day, and Lorelai has just been oblivious to it, even though the rest of the town knows about this dark day, except for her. We then move over to, looks like we have a little visitor here. It looks like Paris has finally gotten a visit from her little counselor, who we haven't seen. I feel like we haven't seen him in a while. This character is played by Mitch Silpa is his name. And if you recognize this man outside of Gilmore Girls, or if you think you do, you probably do. The reason that you might recognize him, this guy, his name is Mitch Silpa, and he actually has very close ties to Melissa McCarthy and her husband, Ben Falcone. And he is a writer and an actor that has appeared in a lot of Melissa McCarthy movies, including The Boss, Bridesmaids, Spy, The Heat. If you rewatch those movies, you will actually see this character because he is a frequent writer, actor, collaborator with Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone. I just figured that I throw that out there because I think sometimes people forget that these actors might do things outside of Gilmore Girls sometimes. And even if they're a small character that pops up every now and then, they might be a little bit more significant of a person than you might realize. So yeah, so shout out to Mitch Silpa. And I believe he's part of the Groundlings. Do you know the Groundlings, like the sketch comedy troupe? I believe based in Chicago. I believe he is one of them. So yeah, so shout out to Mitch Silpa here. And then we have, looks like we have the headmaster from Chilton making another appearance for the first time in quite some time. I'm glad to see him back here. It's been a minute. I forgot how much I did not like him. That has nothing to do with the character. I don't know. It has nothing to do with, like, I don't know. I just have this thing about rich, snooty people. And I mean, I know he always wants what's best for the students, and I totally get it. It's just there's something about the way that he carries himself that I'm like, I don't think you and I would get along. I really don't think that he and I would get along. That's the truth of the matter. We have, looks like Lorelai and Rory are having their Friday night get together with the Richard portion, at least they talk. And Richard actually explains that he has heard, and I guess seen, that Rory and Logan have been getting along quite well, to the surprise of Lorelai, because Lorelai is like, who is Logan? What is this? What's happening right now? Richard has all the deeds because Richard was there. Lorelai, only thing she knows about this guy Logan is that he's the guy that threw the all-male limousine party that Rory walked out of that one night, however long ago at this point. Uh, and that's all she knows. And apparently, according to Richard, they've been very close with each other. To which Lorelai is like, "Wait a second, are you kidding me? What? Why did I not know about this?" Speaking of things that you didn't know about Lorelai, she got invited to Miss Patty's little get together for her celebrating her anniversary of working off Broadway, and she said, Miss Patty said, "Oh, you should come," and Lorelai's like, "Okay, I'm going to bring Luke," and Miss Patty's like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't bring Luke because he's not going to be around." And she's like, "Why?" "Because it's Luke's dark day." So what Lorelai does is she says, "Okay, instead of just directly asking Luke about his dark day, I'm going to just kind of casually see if he brings it up." So she invites him to Miss Patty's party, and then he's like, "When is it?" And she's like, "Oh, it's Tuesday." He's like, and he realizes that's his dark day, and he leaves town or he does whatever he does, and then he just turns off the lights and goes to sleep, which she kind of starts to pick and prod. And mind you, she's in the middle of eating her late night dinner after they had a little excursion with each other, to say the least. Really funny story, actually. So in the scene with Miss Patty, Lorelai says she's really good at convincing people, and Miss Patty's like, "Well, how are you going to do it?" And Lorelai says it involves like something along the lines of like high heels and Jessica Simpson products, right? Like products that people can wear. For those of you that don't remember, some of you might have not realized this, or they have forgotten about it, or just may not have known. So when she talks about the Jessica Simpson products that she wears for Luke to convince him to do things, those products, just to kind of give you an image of why she was saying that, those products are edible, like edible products that you can wear on your body, and a man can, or a woman, whoever you're with, can eat those products off of you. Those are the products she's talking about. And here's the really funny part about all of that is that they actually had to discontinue those products because the products that were edible were causing yeast infections in the people that were wearing the edible products. So it was discontinued because people were suing Jessica Simpson and her company for causing these infections. So just to throw that out there, that is the product that Lorelai is talking about here. Just want to throw that out there. We meet Anna. Anna is a Chilton student who is visiting Rory. The headmaster from Chilton has sent Anna Rory's way because they like to send former students. They like to send current students to go visit former students at these prestigious colleges to kind of visit and get a feel for the college. And so, and we meet Anna. Anna is played by the character Sarah Tureen, is her name. Well, that's her married name. I'm not sure what her name was at this point in her career, but she's played by Sarah Tureen. Sarah Tureen was born December 3rd, 1984 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She is an actress and producer. She's known for, she hasn't done a lot, big things, but she has obviously done this, Gilmore Girls, and she did a movie called Carla. She did a movie called American Crude, and she's had a lot of small credits here and there on film and TV. So if you get a second, just look her up. Look her up on IMDb or just Google her. Her name is Sarah Tureen. And I thought she did a really cool job in this episode. I thought that she was really funny, just in her demeanor, just playing like the young high school student taking in the college experience for the very first time. I thought that was very funny. And here's the disappointing part with Rory. This is where I get a little disappointed with Rory. So Rory was very set on obviously giving her the tour of the college and talk about the college, but at no point did Rory just ask her, like, "Hey, what do you want to see? What do you want to learn about? What do you want to experience?" I found that to be very interesting, that Rory didn't just ask her, you know, I don't know, maybe is that I don't know. That kind of bothered me because I would want to get to know the person a little bit. Not saying that she didn't, because once again, this is TV world. So just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Or, you know, so I'm a little surprised that Rory did not get to know. Actually, I'm not surprised if I really think about it. I'm not surprised at all. And that's not a knock against Rory. I just, you know, that's just who she is, you know, and her whole family, really. I know where she gets it from, you know, when it comes to planning these things. I know exactly where she gets it from. But anyway, shout out to Sarah Tareen, who plays Anna in this episode. Guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, I like Marty. I do. I like Marty. We get a healthy dose of Marty in this episode. I really, really like Marty a lot. I think he's a very sweet guy, and we'll get into some more stuff with that in a minute. But shout out to Marty. Kirk in this episode had a very funny scene with Lorelai. So in this moment right here, they're talking about, you know, Luke's dark day, which Rory and Lorelai did not know about, but everybody else in the town knew. But before this, he's trying to sell her some products for people that fall getting out of their shower. And the quote here that he says to help sell the product, he says, "It's yesterday's retro designs in today's fashion colors with tomorrow's traction technology." I just thought that was really funny because that was his go-to phrase for this entire thing. And he didn't really do a good job of selling it otherwise, but he had that part down pat. So shout out to Kirk and your salesmanship, or dare I say, lack thereof. So here we have Logan meeting Anna for the first time. He is in the library, and he sees Anna and Rory, and then says, "Hey, you should invite her to the pub." Now, mind you, this girl Anna is 16 years old. 16 years old. I guess he doesn't know that, but still, ugh, it made me feel a little weird. He was very smooth in this scene, in this whole episode, wasn't he? He was very smooth. And by smooth, I mean just like, I don't get it. I think that like there's a lot of people that love Logan, I guess, in like just in general. Like his demeanor, his suave, the way that he carries himself. A lot of people like that. What's really funny is the fact that like people fall in love with the dickishness of him. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. I find that very, very interesting because I think that my idea of romance is just a little bit different than his, or the people that love Logan for the way that he approaches situations and romance. People love that. I think my idea of love and romance is just a little bit different. And I think that's why I can't connect with Logan. I can't. Because I want to, because he seems like as rich as he is, as, you know, outgoing and extroverted and smooth as he is, I can't connect with him at all. It's like not even close. And I guess I get why people like him. I do see that, but I personally just don't. I can't connect with them. I can't. In this scene, we have Luke yelling at a poor old woman. Now I get it. Look, the reason that he's yelling is, you know, it all has to do with the boat that his father owned, and he's been paying this woman for quite some time to house the boat in this garage that you see. And she gives him a week notice because she is being put into a adult home because she's getting older, right? But we see Luke literally yelling at the top of his lungs at this woman. And I get it. It's his dad's boat. It's a very touchy subject. But as I'm watching, I couldn't help but think to myself, man, what if this was Dean yelling at somebody and how different people would view it. More on that in a minute. Definitely more on that in a minute, because he ends up yelling at Lorelai in this episode too. And I couldn't help but think, man, what if that were Dean yelling? How would people view it? He ends up, telling Lorelai, obviously what's going on in a moment of vulnerability, which I appreciate. It's always nice to see moments of vulnerability here amongst any of the characters on Gilmore Girls, because a lot of people on the show, they can, in a way, sometimes be a little two-dimensional at times, right? Because that's what people want. They want to, when you watch Gilmore Girls, you know exactly what to expect, right? That's why it's a comfort show for so many people, because you know exactly what to expect. The way that people behave and the way that people react to things, it's fairly predictable, right? So it's always nice when we have these moments of vulnerability. We got it in the previous episode with Emily when she got home from her date. We get it here with Luke when he's opening up about his father to Lorelai. And I appreciate those moments. I appreciate those moments that we get that, because it doesn't happen often. So I appreciate it when it does happen. Fellas, she is 16 years old. These adult males are hitting on this 16-year-old girl. It just weirds me out. It just weirds me out. I don't know. Maybe it's me. They see this. I know they may not know how old she is, but like, that's the problem. And I just don't think there's an excuse. And I don't know. I don't mean to harp on this, but it was just weird. But also in this scene, we see Logan get friend-zoned so hard in this. And Rory like doubles down, because Anna's like, I see you talking to Marty. And Rory is like, oh no, Marty is just like a good guy friend. The best thing about college is that you're going to meet some really good guy friends. And Marty's sitting there like, whoa, I get it, Rory, relax, I'm your friend and nothing more. We see it in his face. And I just can't help but think to myself, man, Marty, say something, man, say something, because Logan's swooping in, and he's swooping in hard. He's like swooping in, like he's going balls to the wall, which he says to Rory. Like he knows, he sees exactly what's happening. Marty is like, Rory, he likes you. And Rory's like, no, he's just whatever. No, like Marty is smart here. He sees it, well, not smart. No, he's smart. He knows exactly what's going on, because he's a guy. And like, guys know other guy techniques. And what Logan is doing that thing that used to do back in like elementary school, when you had like a crush on somebody, so you're mean to them on purpose. That's what's happening here. And Marty sees right through Logan. He sees right through it. And I think it's clear that Marty likes Rory, but he doesn't say anything. Like, oh, Marty, speak up. Speak up. Because Logan is swooping in, my man. He is swooping in. This is a good time to remind you that I have a podcast, the Vibe with Kai podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and right here on YouTube, where I talk about a lot of different things on my podcast, but every now and then I'll talk to a cast member from Gilmore Girls. In the past, I've interviewed Shelley Cole, who plays Madeline on Gilmore Girls. I've interviewed John Cabrera, who plays Brian on Gilmore Girls. I've interviewed Valerie Campbell, who is the key set costumer for Gilmore Girls. And upcoming, I'll be interviewing Rini, who plays Lulu on Gilmore Girls. So subscribe to my podcast. Just type in the Vibe with Kai podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. It's all there. You can check it out if you want to. I'm going to make it a point to start, whenever there's a Black character that has lines, I'm going to start pointing them out and just giving you a little background on them. Because obviously, if there's one thing that this show obviously lacks, it's people of color, right? And last time I said that, people were like, "Oh, what, does Michelle not count?" No, Michelle does count, yes. However, if the fact that you can just be like, "Well, we have one," isn't that good enough for you? No, we can't do that. Not nearly enough. So I want to start pointing out some Black actors that appear on the show. So from this point forward, if there's one with a line or plays any role of significance, I want to highlight them. So the person that you see right here, this is Professor Bell, who is played by the actor George Anthony Bell. George Anthony Bell has been a working professional actor for over 25 years. Currently, Mr. Bell can be seen on the Emmy. Well, this is back in the day, but he's known for his work on the Emmy-nominated hit Disney series Even Stevens, where he played the role of Principal Wexler. He is also a Broadway vet. He is a theater guy. He made his Broadway debut as the evil Wizard opposite Eartha Kitt in Geoffrey Holder's musical extravaganza Timbuktu. He has also appeared on Broadway and in Los Angeles in the original company of Ain't Misbehavin'. George opened the Los Angeles run of Cats at the Shubert Theater, starring as Old Deuteronomy, and it ran for 2 years out in LA. He is a graduate of the Los Angeles Music Center's Musical Theater Workshop, and he has toured the United States in the national companies of The Wiz, where he played the Lion, Porgy and Bess, where he played Jake, and Raisin, where he played Assegai. But acting and singing and dancing, that's not all he does. He also is an acting coach and a dialogue coach. And believe it or not, Mr. George Anthony Bell, he was the acting and dialogue coach for Steven Spielberg's film Hook, Hallmark Channel's Gulliver's Travels, and the WB series Sister Sister. So shout out to you, Mr. George Anthony Bell. Just wanted to point you out. I'm sorry that Logan had to come in and ruin your class, which is what we're going to talk about right now. Logan is swooping in, man. Logan is swooping in. He pulled this stunt. He pulled this stunt in the class, and Rory thinks that he did it just to embarrass her. He did it because he likes her. I think that's incredibly clear. And let me tell you, like, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's so sweet. He interrupted the class to woo Rory." Let me tell you something. If I was in that class, I would be rolling my eyes so hard. If I was the teacher in that class, I'd be like, "You are suspended. This is inappropriate. You cannot do that. This is not okay. There should be repercussions, right?" No, because this is Gilmore Girls and there's no such thing as repercussions, especially when you have money. Rory Gilmore, give these boys back their balls, they say as they exit the classroom. Inappropriate, Logan. I know you like her. It is what it is. Shout out to our friend here, who is out on a date with, they did a speed dating. And so we have Paris here with Doyle, which is the couple I did not know that I was interested in until now. So good for them, I guess. Good for them. They connected. Though I gotta say, I was a theater major in college, and the person that she talked to before Doyle was like, "Oh, I'm a theater major," and she's like, "Ding, ding, ding, I'm out." Wouldn't even hear anything more. And that, my friends, is the story of my love life. College was fun. And Doyle and Paris end up having the sexual intercourse with each other. Good for them. Good for them. By the way, I meant to point this out. Earlier in the episode, we see Paris getting ready to go to the speed dating thing. And she asks Rory how she looks. And Rory responds with, "It's 11 o'clock at night. Who are you hoping to hook up with now, Spike or Drusilla?" And for those of you that don't know what that reference is, Spike and Drusilla, that is a reference to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. which also featured Danny Strong. Danny Strong is Doyle. Danny Strong was a featured actor on that show. I'm surprised there aren't more references. I guess they wouldn't want to throw it in our face, but I'm surprised they don't make like more Buffy references, I guess, whenever Doyle's on screen. But that's just me. Marty to the rescue! Marty to the rescue! Who does she call? Her good friend, her buddy old pal. Marty shows up to save the day. Marty's a good guy. Marty is a good man. Him and his scarf. It's cold outside, but he's still going to look a little fashionable. As fashionable as he can be. Good for you, Morty. Good for you. Showing up to save the day when the reason, mind you, when I say that he came to save the day, he's coming to save the day because Anna, the little girl from Chilton, she's gone missing and Rory cannot find her anywhere. So who does she call? Marty. Marty to the rescue to help find this poor 16-year-old girl on a college campus. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Luke yelling at Lorelai. Like, he's like really upset with her. Now I get it. It has to do with his father. You know, it's a very dark day. And that's how people, you know, justify him yelling at Lorelai. But I don't think it's okay. And I tell you, if this was Dean yelling at Rory, I don't think that people would find ways to justify it. They would just be like, Dean is awful and he treats Rory like crap, right? Luke has a short temper. We've seen it many times. Have we not? Luke gets very, 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 very upset with Lorelai, and he says things like, "You never listen to me. It's always about you," which is quite reminiscent of a conversation that people use to describe how Dean was bad for Rory. Very reminiscent. But people will justify this because people like Luke, I guess, a little bit more, and they ship it more, so they'll excuse it more than they would with Dean. And I don't mind criticizing Luke, and I'll tell you why. And I say this all the time. I don't mind criticizing Luke. I criticize Luke because he's my favorite character in the show. He's my favorite character in the show, so I don't mind criticizing him because, like, I think high quality characters deserve high criticism. I'm not going to criticize, you know, Kirk the same way that I criticize Luke. You know what I'm saying? Why are you yelling at Lorelai? Why is he yelling at Lorelai?
What did she do?
She was looking. His boat was being evicted, and he wanted to get rid of it. So Lorelai bought it and put it in her own garage, and he got really upset and yelled at her.
Because he has attachment issues connected to his father with it.
That's very true. I get why he's yelling.
Don't touch my shit.
Don't touch my shit. That's roommate lady, ladies and gentlemen, with the guest commentary. I hope you enjoyed that. So now we see Rory getting yelled at. Well, not yelled at. He actually was very surprisingly calm about the situation. The headmaster called and was like, "Hey, how's things going with your little student from Chilton?" She's like, "It's going great," in her normal lying way. Let's be real, Rory likes to lie. Let's be real. Let's not skirt around it. And so he's like, "Oh, well, that's a lie, because that 16-year-old girl that was supposed to be your responsibility has been sent home by the cops for being at a raucous party." 16-year-old girl. And Rory tried to lie her way out of it, but she didn't. She got caught. And are there repercussions? No, not in this show. Not on Gilmore Girls. There's no such thing as repercussions. That could have been really bad though. If that 16-year-old girl, if Anna gotten like, man, that could have been really bad. Really, really bad. Luke ends up apologizing, of course, and we forgive him because it's Luke and not Dean. We don't forgive Dean for anything. But we forgive Luke because he's a cute patootie, and we ship him and Lorelai. He says, I'm sorry. And she's like, I forgive you. And they're all lovey-dovey. Don't mind me. I'm slightly jealous because I am in love with Lorelai. Yeah, I said it. This was a funny sequence. Okay, so at the end of the episode, we get Richard approaching Logan and being like, all arranged marriage type of thing. And like at first I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, because at first I'm like, oh wait, Richard is actually doing this. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a Richard thing to do. And I actually in my notebook wrote down, Richard. But then come to find out it was just a trick. It was a trickaroony that Rory and Richard planned to get back at Logan because Logan pulled that stunt in the classroom. Now, the really cool thing here is, I'm sure if you've seen this episode, you'll remember that when Richard is walking away from Logan, he makes eye contact with Rory and he like flicks his nose like this, right? He like flicks his nose like that, right? Touching the side of their nose. And Rory does it back. And you might be wondering, what is that a reference to? Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you. That is a reference to the Paul Newman, Robert Redford movie, The Sting, which came out in 1973. In that movie, when the con man duo and their team, when they finish they're part of the scheme for their con, that's what they do. They fingers on the side of the nose. So that is what that is in reference to. It is in reference to the movie The Sting, 1973. So what did I think of this episode? I give it a 6 out of 10. Same score as the previous episode. I give it a 6 out of 10. I was thinking about giving it like a 6.5. But I thought about it more. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Same score as the previous episode. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. And it's continuing to be I guess important exposition for what's to come. But it was okay. Not bad, not great. It was what it was. But that said, my friends, if you enjoyed watching this, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well, so you'll be notified anytime that I post something here on the YouTube. I post it here first before I post it anywhere else. So check it out. Hit that subscribe button. And if you like me, you can follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. This is my website, thevibewithkai.com. As always, I love y'all. God bless and good vibes.